We're going to give everybody just a few more minutes to come on board, make sure we got everybody on the different time zones here. All right. Quick look at the time. Okay. Well, hey, guys, welcome to tonight. Thank you for taking just a few minutes of your time. My name's Eric Albrechtsen, and tonight we're going to be covering a lot of different things. So if you got a piece of paper or pencil or whatever you want to take some notes, feel free to do so. But just a real quick about myself. My wife and I we've been married for 28 years. We live out in a little town called Queen Creek in Arizona. It's right next to Mesa, Gilbert, there in the southeast corner of the Phoenix Valley. But we've got 4 kids. We've got 3 girls and a son. And then we've got 3 little grandbabies. But just as far as when we moved down here to Arizona, we both grew up in northern Utah area. We moved down here about 25 years ago. And we did so because we'd started a window washing business up in Utah. And unfortunately, as the wintertime would get there, it made it a lot more difficult to wash the windows, put the water on, it'd freeze. And so it kind of screwed things up there. So we moved down to Arizona. We knew some people down here and we'd come down and we started our business down here. And it really, really took off. We pioneered some new techniques, different things like that. And we grew that company to about 3,000 people that we worked with. And it was considered probably one of the very best window washing companies here in the Phoenix area. And then on top of that, because what was happening is I was working a whole bunch, a lot of hours, we had a bunch of employees, different things like that. And so we were looking to try and free up some more time. And so in order to do that, we figured, well, we've got all these clients. People kept asking us who did lawn care and landscaping, things like that. So we started 2 other companies on top of that. And rather than giving me more time, what that did was actually took away my time. And now I was literally working from 4 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. So if there's anybody that can kind of fit into that shoe or relate to that, that's what our life was. Trisha was at home with the kids. She was helping with the scheduling and things are very, very busy. Now we would get approached about different business opportunities and different things like that on a very, very regular basis. And the one that we got introduced the most was multi-level marketing or network marketing. And it was funny because when I say we would get approached by 2 or 3 times a week on the minimum, because I'm in the houses, I've become good friends with these people over the course of time. And we had so many clients that it was just kind of I'm there, they're like, hey, before you leave, I want to show you something. I'm like, let me guess. Multi-level marketing. They're like, how did you know? So, well, we grew up in northern Utah, which happens to be, like Silicon Valley for network marketing, and then literally get an approach 2 or 3 times a week. Now, what was interesting is a lot of people, they have, like, oh, it's network marketing or multi-level marketing. They're kind of negative on it. And I think that just is not really understanding how the industry works or what it actually entails. And as far as me and Trisha, we actually were very, very positive about it. We actually had several clients that had done very, very well in some of the bigger companies like Nu Skin and Amway and Melaleuca and some of these big giants that have been around for decades. And these were some of our clients. And so we knew that it worked. We actually got involved very early on when we were first married, but we never really got any real success. But we understood the industry, and it is always appealing to me because what it was allowing you to do is to duplicate yourself. And even though we tried to do that with employees, in network marketing, it's a completely different thing because you're working with independent distributors, individuals that you're not their boss or anything like that, but it allows you to duplicate and to grow. So we would get looked at, multiple times. We got involved in a couple, never had a lot of success. And then in 2009, something completely changed. we had a chance to get involved with a company that was brand new and just getting launched, and we got involved. And one of the primary reasons we got involved early on when this company was getting started is because with all of the clients that we had, as a young guy, as a business guy, I was very curious as to why some individuals in professions did very, very well and some of them did not. And maybe you've noticed this in the profession that you work in. There's always one or two people in that profession that excel financially. You know, here we've done work with realtors. We had some realtors that made millions of dollars, and then we had other realtors who, you know, couldn't put food on the table. We had individuals that worked for some of the big Intel and Motorola. They made millions. We had other people that worked for Intel and Motorola, and they just had a very basic income coming in. We had doctors that were millionaires, doctors that were not. And it was very curious to me as to why was this big discrepancy there. And so over the course of time, I started taking these individuals out to lunch and dinner. Now, mind you, most of our clientele were some of the top 1% income earners in the world, and especially here in the US. And so I'd take them out to lunch and dinner, and I would ask them all one question. I said, what did you do different than everybody else? And it was fascinating to find out that literally after 5 or 6 years of doing this, and over 100 multimillionaires that I talked to, they all told me the exact same thing. Every one of them said, Eric, it has nothing to do with what we knew. It always had to do with who they knew, when they knew that person, and then what they did with the information. Because it was fascinating, because here we had some individuals that were MDs, PhDs. One guy had 3 PhDs. We had high school educated, high school dropouts, everybody in between. And every single one of these millionaires, they all told me that exact same thing. They said it had nothing to do with our education, who we knew, when we knew that person, and then what we did with it. And then we ended up learning about a guy named Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker is a financial analyst. If you go to any business college, he teaches some very fascinating business principles, because what he did is a lot of the same thing. He studied different companies, why they had become successful, and what made the difference. And when I came across what he had figured out, it laid up right exactly with what these millionaires told us. So here's what he showed me and Trish. Okay, there's a thing called a business timeline. Let me get a different marker. That one's not quite as dark here. Okay, so a business gets started here at 0, and you go through this little S curve. Okay, and the first 3 to 5 years when a business gets starting, this is what they call pioneering. Okay, pioneering, incidentally, unfortunately, is where 98% of all businesses fail, is within those first 3 to 5 years. But what they found is if you can get a business past those first 3 to 5 years, then the chances of that company lasting long term goes up dramatically. But he also found that the bigger companies, that when they got to where they were doing $4 million a month in sales, which is $50 million a year, and they did that consistently. So if they did 4 million consistently for 12 months in a row, then all of a sudden their business changed. The whole dynamics changed. What happened was now they've become branded, and people were now coming to them versus them chasing down all of their clients. And all of a sudden their company would go through this big growth phase. And what he found is 80% of that company's business that they would have for the rest of their life would come through this momentum phase. And he called it critical mass and momentum. Once a business went through this, and it can last anywhere from a few months to a few years, just depending on the type of business, products, goods, or services that they were selling. But once they got past that, then they hit a thing called stability. And stability is not that a business isn't growing, it's just not growing like it did during this massive phase of critical mass and momentum. And that's usually about a 2 to 5% growth. So if you got a very big, stable company growing a couple percent every year, that's pretty typical and very, very good. Now, this right here, when I learned about this was everything that I've been looking for, and it's what these millionaires have told me. Because here's the cool thing. What these millionaires told me, they said, Eric, this right here, this little S curve, if you want to participate in this, and people do try to do this literally every single day. The stock market is one of the primary places people do this. They're trying to buy low and they're trying to sell high, okay? And this is just business 101. And so a business, they're trying to do this, and you're trying to be one of the very first people to invest in a company or start a company into a new area. And you're trying to do this so that you can capture this growth. And what they found is if you could just do this one time in your life and be in front of something big, then you would never literally have to never worry about money again. And so here I was looking for this as a young guy. I actually hope that one of these guys that I worked for would come out and say, oh, you do such a great job with your businesses. I want to make you the next CEO of my company, and I'm going to pay you millions of dollars to do that. But that was kind of in the back of my head. I was like, that would be super cool. But it never happened. And realistically, it wasn't going to happen because frankly, yeah, I had very successful businesses, but I'm high school educated. And that's, if somebody's going to come in and hire a CEO, there's a lot more to that. And so it was always fun to kind of dream about. And so as I also had talked to these guys in network marketing, they had the exact same scenario. The guy that got involved in Nu Skin, him and his wife got involved back in '84 when it was just getting started. In 1987, they hit that $50 million a year time frame, and where they really started to grow. And there was a lot of factors that came into play there. For example, the interest rates were starting to go up dramatically, and people were trying to figure out how to make money to pay for their mortgage and buy homes and cars and different things like that just to survive. And that company went from that 50 plus million a year to today, they're over $5.5 billion in sales. Okay. The guys in Melaleuca, same thing. The guy in Amway, very same thing. They got in early and they rode this wave. So here we were being approached on a very regular basis. And this is one thing that Trisha and I, when we would get talked to about different companies, we would look at this. We got involved in a couple of companies because it was a brand new company, thinking, okay, that was it. But we never succeeded, and a lot of those companies failed. Well, Peter Drucker also did some other research and studies. He found out that the companies that made this big growth and went into these giants, they had some things that were in common. There are 5 things that you look at in any opportunity. The first one is you're going to look at the company. The products is next. Timing, which is this, okay? The trends, compensation, so how they pay you, and then the system that they have to create this type of flow in their business. And Peter Drucker said, now, if you're missing one of these key components, the chances of this company succeeding long-term just went down. Okay, if you're missing one, you're now at 70%. If you're missing 2, you're at 60%. If you're missing 3, go find something else to invest your time and efforts and money into, because that is most likely not going to succeed long-term. Okay, so once we now understood this was the formula, then Trish and I started looking for this. Well, we got a call from a very good friend of ours to take a look at a company in 2009, and they had all of these factors lining up. And this is absolutely rare. I need to move this so that I can get in here. So this is actually very rare to actually have all of these things line up. But we found this in 2009. And this little S curve, guys, I am telling you, is absolutely legit. Okay. We got in, brand new company getting started. We helped grow that company from 0 to $215 million in less than 5 years. Trish and I became multimillionaires. We helped literally hundreds and hundreds of families generate incomes of anywhere from a couple of $100 a month to literally hundreds of them over $10,000 a month or more. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus $1,000 a month or more incomes because they got in here and they rode this way with us. We actually had over a dozen families that we helped generate incomes of over $100,000 a month. And guys, we literally had people that were in their late 60s, early 70s, 18-year-old kids, 35, 40, right? It didn't matter the age. It didn't matter your education. All you had to do is get in front of this wave and participate in the system. And it was astounding what happened. So that was in 2009. Well, what's unfortunate about that particular company that we were with, they were publicly traded. And when things are publicly traded, things have a lot of challenges with that, because you have the shareholders, the board of directors, and things like that. And the company's always more concerned about them than they are the distributors. And what started to happen is they changed the formulations of the product. They changed the compensation plan. They changed a number of things. They were more concerned about the shareholders and the board of directors and getting their cut. And so what happened is with all those changes, it made growing the company very, very difficult. Today, that company's kind of plateaued at that point, and now they have a revolving door. So people get in, the top people are continuing to make their checks, but it's just a revolving door for everybody else. And so Trish and I, little over 3.5 years ago, we walked away from that company. And we were on a hunt to find this again, because this is rare, but if you can find it, it helps out. And one of the reasons we were looking for this is because of our kids. We had our kids in our last company. They were like, hey, Dad, can you help me make some money? And we literally couldn't help them generate the incomes that Trish and I had helped other people generate. And so we thought, it's time to find something else different and new. And so when we left, we had a 2-year non-compete with that company. And so we had to be careful who we talked to, because we couldn't talk to anybody that was associated with that last company. But we literally got flown all over the country looking at different MLMs. Companies would call us up, hey, we want you guys to be a part of our business. We want you to be the face of our company. They were whining and dining Trisha and I. And what was interesting is after our non-compete was up, I was literally laying there in bed late at night, and I got prompted to make a call to the former CEO of this company that we'd made all their money with. He had left the company along with most of his corporate staff, the original corporate staff. The original doctor, Dr. McCord, he had also left the company. And so what had happened is during that interim, while we were in this non-compete phase, they had all got back together and they had formed a new company, and they launched this company in 2017. It's a US-based company, but rather than opening up here in the US market, they launched down in Mexico. Well, when we contacted them about little over 1.5 years ago, so literally a couple of weeks right before COVID, everything shut down, is when we contacted them. And I called David Brown. David Brown was the CEO. And I asked him, I said, what's going on with your company? And he told me that they had launched down in Mexico, and he said they were doing extremely well. They already at that point had 20,000 distributors down in Mexico. They were crushing it down there. They had people that were making anywhere from a couple of $100 a month to $80,000+ a month in Mexico, okay? Which is insane, because that's like $250,000 a month here. So they were doing very, very well down there. And I said, well, what about the US market? Where are you guys with that? They said, we were literally looking ready to open up the US market, and we're looking for some people that can help us do that. And so Trish and I, we drove up to Salt Lake, and our goal was just to spend the day with them and kind of see what was going on with them, even though we knew these individuals, okay? We had worked with them. We had created all of our financial success with them. But we still wanted to check all of these boxes, okay, to make sure that they were there. We weren't just going in there with a bunch of emotion, because this right here, these are things that you can literally step back and say, okay, if each one of these things are in place, then you have something. And so that's what we did. Well, when we got done, like I said, we were supposed to meet on Tuesday. We met Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We got home just in time for church on Sunday morning. And we knew that this was where we were going to spend our time. And so we stayed those extra few days to formulate a game plan to open up the US market. Well, just as we got all that put together and we were super excited to help them open up the US market, well, then COVID hit. And it shut down not only everything, I mean, the company continued to grow. Now down in Mexico, because they already had tens of thousands of distributors, they actually continued to grow. Today, they have literally during COVID, they doubled their business down in Mexico, okay? Because all of these components were in place for them down there in Mexico as they were launching. Well, Trish and I, we took that time during COVID to organize things. We got all the websites put into English. We got everything, all the studies, everything in place, the compensation plan. We created a system that was in place that anybody can plug into. And so we did all of that knowing that there was going to be a time frame when things would open up and we could start meeting with people in person. So we've got people that we meet in person, they'll do a meeting like this. And we've got people that if they're not here in a home or something like that, then we'll have them jump on Zoom like you guys are here tonight. And so we've been able to grow our business that way. So it's been very, very advantageous. But we really didn't start this company in the US market until July 1st. Okay. July 1st is when we really kicked everything off. And since then, guys, it is exploding. Why? Because every one of these components is in place. And I'm going to walk through this. So it's just, that we will look at this very objectively and show you what's going on here. But since July 1st, we have literally got people that are already making $4, $5, $6, $7,000 a month, or $10,000 a month or more just here in the U.S. market. Okay, so let me jump into these things, and we'll walk through each one of those. Well, first off, the company is it's the name of the company is called Activz, ACTIVZ. Okay, like I said, Activz was started in 2017. Well, when you're looking at this portion right here, when you look at the company, some of the things that you're looking at is, who are the individuals running the company? Do they have experience? Do they know what they're doing? Do they got the financial capital to do what they're going to do? And all of those little things. Well, first off, the CEO of the company is a guy named David Brown. Okay, David Brown, very, very successful in this industry. Like I said, with our last company, we grew that to $200 million in less than 5 years. We set all sorts of records with him. But he's also used to be a CEO of a little company called Metabolife. Maybe you've heard of them. Okay, he grew that company from obscurity to over $1 billion in sales. The guy is extremely knowledgeable about health and wellness, but he also understands business and all of the little details that need to make a business function behind the scenes. Okay, because that's very, very important. So David Brown is the CEO. Ryan Thompson, he is the president of the company. Now, Trish and I have known Ryan for probably going on to 20 years. Ryan Thompson very first started in this industry when he was a young guy. He was a manager for Nu Skin just as they were hitting that big S curve. And he said, Eric, he goes, I started writing checks and helping their checks and all that kind of stuff to these individuals. He goes, they were starting out with a couple thousand, then he went to 30,000, then jumped to 60,000. He goes, Eric, he goes, I was signing monthly income checks of $600,000+ a month. And at that point, he decided he'd become a distributor, but he'd already kind of missed that S curve, but it taught him a valuable lesson. So he's been on the distributor side. He's been on the corporate side. He was there with our last company that we helped develop. He was the vice president of the U.S. market. Very, very knowledgeable. One of the most highly sought after people in this entire industry is Ryan Thompson. Some of the things that he's familiar with is that he's written compensation plans. So he wrote the compensation plan for our last company, but he also wrote the one here for Activz. And he made sure that this one was better. It's because what was nice is we had all these years to look at it and what they could have done to improve it. Well, they did those things when they started Activz. You got Angie Hawthorne. Angie, she was the IT department over there at our last company. She is very, very knowledgeable in this industry. She's written code for all sorts of companies and things like that. She's got an incredible IT team. So she's the COO. But what they have done is they've surrounded themselves with individuals that not only understand business, but they understand multi-level marketing, because MLM is a completely different animal. So these guys are what's going to run and everything. Okay. They started in 2017, but they literally in 2016 is when they got together and they spent an entire year formulating this company, putting everything together. And then as they got all of that put together, then they launched it, and it's done very, very well. So that's, like I said, it wasn't just haphazardly put together. Again, they are smart individuals. So that's the company side of things. By the way, financially, the company is in the black. They've never missed a commission check. They've got a massive manufacturing facility in Springville, Utah. And you can go take a tour of it. It's absolutely astounding. Hundreds of thousands of square feet of just manufacturing, warehousing, and all this kind of stuff. Everything is poised, ready to grow. They got a manufacturing facility down in Mexico, because Mexico now has opened up into Colombia and Peru, and now to Brazil and Venezuela, a lot of these Latin American countries. So they're literally self-sustaining all the way down there. Well, that bodes well for the company, because now they have the financials to take care of everything. So that's the company side. Okay. Now, so you go, okay, check mark on that. The product. Some of you were invited to this Zoom because you heard that we have some really, really cool products that you can probably benefit from. Well, the reason why I spoke a lot about the company, because first off, if you got really, really cool products, you got to make sure that the company can produce those products and get those products out to you, that they're being produced safely and ethically and all those kind of things. So you're looking for that. So all those things come into play. So the products, I'm going to spend a little bit of time on our top 3 products because they're very, very pertinent to what's going on worldwide right now with the pandemic and different things like that, but also just collectively with the overall health of us. I'm going to start out. There's a guy named Dr. Joe McCord. Okay, I'm drawing this right here. I'm going to give you a little biology lesson. This is the human cell. This is the nucleus. Okay. Dr. McCord in the late 60s, he and a bunch of researchers, they were studying things called free radicals at the time. They didn't know if free radicals in the body were good for the body or bad for the body. They didn't really know a whole lot about them. And so while he was studying them and trying to figure that out, he actually discovered something that is so significant, guys, that the guy has been nominated 4 times for the Nobel Prize in Medicine because of this discovery, okay? He discovered that our body produces an enzyme. This enzyme is our natural defense against free radicals. Free radicals are caused by the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, every time we exercise, everything like that. It's literally the byproduct of that, okay? Free radicals, they bounce around inside the cell and they cause damage to it. That damage leads to inflammation right at the cellular level, and then it expands out from there. Well, when Dr. McCord discovered this little enzyme, it's called superoxide dismutase, okay? Superoxide dismutase is our body's natural defense system to get rid of these free radicals, okay? And what it does is it literally eats about 1 million free radicals per second, every second in every single cell. So literally trillions and trillions of free radicals are being eradicated every second in our body because of this little enzyme. And it's what helps keep our bodies healthy, okay? But then he found out that, okay, everybody is born and they have this, but as we age from 0 to around 20 years old, and if you're over the age of 20, you understand this right here, okay? When you turn around the age of 20, the production of this enzyme starts to drop off. And by the time you get to between 40 and 65 plus, that enzyme is not very prevalent in the body, if at all. And so now every time that you take a breath, every time you eat or drink something, or you go exercise and you're working out, trying to stay healthy and all these things, what happens is you've now created trillions and trillions and trillions and quadrillions of these free radicals, and they're bouncing around in the cell. They're causing more and more damage every second. And all of this damage now leads to various diseases. And most of these diseases line up with this. As Dr. McCord was studying this, things like Alzheimer's and heart disease and diabetes and cancer and basically every known disease out there is all linked back to this, okay? This is where the root of the problem is. Well, that problem, like I said, most of these diseases show up as in the later stages, okay? You've probably never met a kid, teenager or a little kid that has got Alzheimer's. Well, why is that? Because our body, when it's producing this little enzyme and it's keeping all of those things eradicated, it keeps our body healthy. When a kid gets sick, well, usually it's something minor. Their body can take care of it, and they're out the door. If they get a broken arm or a sprained ankle, their body heals very, very quickly. Versus the older we get, anytime you have any major accidents or anything going on with your body, it takes longer and longer to heal, all because of this process. So for decades, literally Dr. McCord for close to 40 years, when he realized that our body wasn't producing that, he tried to invent a synthetic version of that, trying to figure out a way to stop this process. After his discovery of this, he actually became a professor at the University of Colorado, and he and his colleagues spent every single day trying to solve this problem. Then one of his colleagues came to him and gave him an idea. And this idea, as simple as it may sound, was something that nobody even thought to look at, okay? His idea was, what if we could just tell the body to start making this enzyme again? And so they started looking at that. And where they started to look at was they looked at things called antioxidants, okay? Antioxidants, I think most people on this planet are familiar with antioxidants. Pretty much every natural product out there is listed as an antioxidant. Well, antioxidants get rid of free radicals, okay? And this has been known now for a very long time. They really started to understand antioxidants in the late 70s, early 80s. But then over the last 20 years, they have found something very, very fascinating, that every single antioxidant works exactly the same way. It doesn't matter how concentrated it is, where it was grown, the Amazon jungles, it doesn't matter, okay? Doesn't matter how purified it is, they all work exactly the same way. One antioxidant molecule kills one free radical, but it kills itself in the process. So you drink this great juice and it's supposed to be an antioxidant. Well, you've killed very few of these free radicals. In the process, remember, every time you eat or drink or anything like that, you contribute more. So every time you're eating or drinking one of these antioxidants, you're making more free radicals than you're getting rid of. Now, all these things like vitamins and juices and vegetables, and those things are good for us, but their primary objective is not to get rid of free radicals. It's just kind of a fringe benefit that we get. So what Dr. McCord and his colleagues did is they started looking at different antioxidants and started to work with different ingredients and call it like a science, grace of God, whatever you want to call it. But they ended up with 5 ingredients that when they got them into a particular format and the same amount or the right proportions, then the body did something differently. Rather than look at this as food and create free radicals, it now sent a signal to the body's DNA to produce SOD again. Not only SOD, but they found that it produced other things. It started the production of catalase and glutathione, as well as over 1,000 of the survival genes that we're all what we all have. Okay, as we age, these survival genes, some of them like SOD, they underproduce, and others overproduce, which is not good. Well, when they found that they introduced this formulation into the body, within 24 to 48 hours, every cell, literally think about that, every single cell was producing this enzyme again. Well, if you continue to take this formulation over a period of time, then the amount of oxidative stress, because this little thing was in there, it was literally going around like Pac-Man eating this up. Well, that was a huge, huge breakthrough. Today, they understand why that takes place. There's a thing called NRF2, 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 okay? NRF2 is the signaling device that was making this happen. Okay, NRF2 is the signaling device for catalase and glutathione and all the survival genes, all the things that keep us healthy and young and vibrant. Okay, NRF2 is the catalase for making that happen. Well, when they found that out, that was huge. Dr. McCord, he took this product, they put it and they sold it through various stores like GNC and High Health. Well, word got out. He was featured on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. He was featured on Good Morning America. And in 2005, Dr. McCord was featured on ABC Primetime, okay? In 2005, like I said, so this product that I'm talking about was created in 2000. 2005, ABC Primetime. John Quinones, you guys have heard of him. He's the investigative reporter. Well, he heard about what this product was doing. He calls BS on it. His decision was to go out to Dr. McCord there at the University of Colorado, meet with him, look at the research and the science, go through it all. And he was going to expose Dr. McCord. And what he found out was that the product did what it said it was going to do. And when they aired that in 2005, what happened was now everybody literally the next day ran out to buy this product. They went from selling a bottle of product a month per store to over $5 million worth of product over the next 30 days. The problem is they weren't prepared for that. They ran out of ingredients. They ran out of everything. They were not prepared at all for that. And so when that happened, they had this big rush. The stock went from $1 to $21 a share, and then it dropped literally back to 7 cents a share. So they actually went way back further. Well, then in 2009, this particular company hires David Brown. Okay, so going back to our little start in the beginning. Okay, David Brown is hired in 2009. In 2009, we take that company from there to 215 million. And this right here, actually that's 2015, that's almost 215 million. Okay, But then, like I said, the wheels kind of came off and it's kind of plateaued because of a number of things. They changed the formulation of that product. So Dr. McCord said, this is no longer my product. He left that company. David Brown, they were wanting him to do different things that he didn't feel comfortable with. So he eventually left. All of his corporate staff left. But this is what the company, like I said, Trish and I made our millions with. Now, why this is important is because between 2009 and 2020, 2016, Dr. McCord had continued to do research, because what they found is when that Nrf2 was started and that enzyme was being produced, it was only being produced for a very short period during the day after you took the product. And so he was wanting to figure out, how can we make Nrf2 continue to produce longer? How do we keep that transcription open longer? And so they continued on different formulations. And what they were to find out was that first ingredients that they had put together, yeah, while it did work, they were able to make it more effective. I'm going to draw you out a little chart. This is representative of Dr. McCord's chart. So this was in 2015, that initial product. He continued to improve upon this, okay? And then he found one that was literally 10 times more effective than the original product from early 2000. This product they called Genomics, okay? Genomics is literally the strongest and best Nrf2 producer in the world. There's nothing that even comes close out there on the market, nothing, okay? Today, Nrf2 has been studied by pretty much every major medical facility and university and research lab around the world. If you go look up Nrf2, there's literally millions and millions of pages of research. If you look at various diseases and you look at, does oxidative stress have a role in those processes? There's literally hundreds of thousands of pages of research and different things like that. I mean, some of the studies are absolutely fascinating, okay? So in 2016, Actives acquired the licensing and agreements and everything to this product, okay? We have everything there from Dr. McCord. Dr. McCord sits on the medical advisory board of Actives. They've also said that if they increase or do anything better above and beyond genomics, that we also got that as well. Again, this is why it's important to have people that know what they're doing in business already locked down those deals ahead of time. So this right here today, genomics is literally like the smartphone. The original one would be like the flip phone. Yeah, it worked, but they could definitely improve upon it. So that's where we're at today. So that product is Genomics, okay? The next product is called Link. So Genomics, Link, L-I-N-Q. Link is made from butyric acid. Butyric acid is a short chain fatty acid. Our bodies require a short chain fatty acid to do a lot of very important roles in our body. And the best short chain fatty acid out there is butyric acid. Butyric acid is created naturally by our body if we're eating properly. Well, the problem is 99.9% of the people on this planet do not eat properly, so the body isn't producing these things necessary in order to make their body function. So some of the things that butyric acid does is that it's the food for all of the organs in your body. So your heart, liver, lung, small intestines, large intestine, stomach, all of those things, your brain, they require a different food. They require the short chain fatty acid. They require it specifically to feed themselves. And it's these endothelial cells, which are different than the rest of the cells in the body, require butyric acid in order to function properly, okay? So that's one reason why you have it. So people with like leaky gut syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, any of those issues with the gut, and I mean gut from the neck on down, okay? That's what's considered in the medical field is the gut. The Link is butyric acid. And what's unique about our butyric acid versus anything else you can find on the market is butyric acid in and of itself, either it smells like diarrhea or tastes like vomit. I mean, it's just that smell. So if you have those things, that is what it smells and tastes like. Well, if you've got this wonderful product, but it smells and tastes like those two things, you're going to get very, very few people to want to take it, okay? Well, this was the case with a doctor named Dr. Joe Maroon. Dr. Joe Maroon is head of neurology at the University of Pittsburgh. He's world renowned. He's in his early 70s. The guy runs Iron Triathlons. He actually helped create the protocol for concussions. So if you have a kid that has played anything from pee-wee sports all the way to a professional sport, everybody in between there, they all follow his protocol for concussions. They go through the little course before they play. If they get a concussion, they go through the protocol to deal with it. If you're in an automobile accident, you fall, slip, and hit your head, and you go into the hospital, you're going to follow Dr. Maroon's protocol for concussions, okay? The guy is, like I said, he's world-renowned brain surgeon, neurologist, and he is known for decades that butyric acid, he called it the silver bullet to our overall health, because not only did it feed the endothelial cells in all of our organs to improve these things and start to heal things like leaky gut syndrome and irritable bowel syndrome and all those different things, it also helps control all of our hormones, okay? It's the signaling device for our hormones. And we're talking HGH, human growth hormone, melatonin that helps you sleep, serotonin, dopamines, insulin, all of those different hormones are regulated because of the short chain fatty acid, butyric acid, okay? And they have to have that to make the right amounts in your body. If you're not getting those, then our levels are not being produced rightfully, and you run into a lot of problems and issues. The other things that it does is with the central nervous system. So all of our nerves, the things that sends the impulses and the signals through our entire body are the neurons. Well, those neurons, because of oxidative stress, okay, oxidative stress, going back to Dr. McCord's product, oxidative stress is like the rusting of an engine or rusting of a piece of metal. It just rusts and breaks down, or when an apple turns brown or banana turns brown, that's oxidization. That's caused by the free radical damage. Neurons, they get that as well. And through that process, those things will then break, and now you don't get the connection between the cells. And this is where you get things like dementia and Alzheimer and different nerve problems and issues throughout the body, is because those neurons aren't able to communicate properly and function properly. Well, butyric acid, when it's introduced into the system, it then gives the food to those neurons that they will actually regrow. It's not that they can't, they just didn't have the right food, okay? So they'll regrow. So butyric acid is one of the most absolutely important things. Again, we call it link between it because it's the link between the gut and the brain. Everything that happens in your brain and your body first has to start with the intestines. So we heal the intestines, large and small, take care of all those perforations, the holes, and all those issues. And then it goes out and it starts feeding the endothelial cells, all these different cells, so that then they can heal themselves and start to get themselves better. So absolutely one of the coolest products ever is Link, okay? The next one is called Optimin. Optimin is based off of turmeric. If I had everybody raise their hand and say, how many are familiar with turmeric? I would say most people in this planet are familiar with turmeric. Turmeric is a cooking spice, but it's also been found to reduce inflammation, okay? And it does it naturally. But here's the problem. The turmeric, even though you can literally find hundreds and hundreds of companies that sell it, it is in and of itself, it's too big for the body to absorb those molecules. And so it isn't able to do that. Oh, before I even go on, I forgot to mention the most important thing about your Link, okay? Getting ahead of myself. Link, our butyric acid versus anybody else's. Because again, you can buy it anywhere. Our butyric acid, we have our scientists and researchers that work here with Actives, were able to figure out a way to wrap the molecules of the butyric acid. So there's no taste, there's no smell, it gets down past the stomach, into the intestines, and slow time releases so the body can there absorb it and use it and start to heal itself, okay? Optimin, the same guys that created Link, created Optimin. What they found was turmeric wasn't being absorbed into the body, so 96% of that was literally being flushed out of the body. You can spend money on it, and it was getting very little to no reaction as far as reducing inflammation. So they isolated the 4 molecules in the turmeric plant that were responsible for the anti-inflammatory process, extracted those, wrapped it in the same format that Link had, and so that it would time release, get down past the stomach acid, which kills a lot of things. So it gets down past there, it can now slow time release in the appropriate places, and the body can use it. And it literally works like an ibuprofen or something like that that reduces inflammation. But ibuprofen is very, very hard on the stomach. So It's always says eat it with food. If you don't, you're going to get ulcers and things like that. See, this right here, Optimin, you have a natural product, no side effects, and it is literally the strongest natural anti-inflammatory in the world, period. Okay. It is an incredible product. Dr. Maroon and Dr. Patel, who works with his office, who's a pain specialist, they literally write prescriptions for these two products to their patients because that's how important they are. They want the individuals, if they've got a brain injury or issues with the nervous system, to be having their bodies take care of themselves. Both those guys sit on our medical advisory board. So now you've got Dr. Maroon, Dr. Patel, you've got Dr. McCord. So the other individuals we have sitting on our medical advisory board, we got a guy named Admiral Matt Winters. Admiral Matt Winters was Vice Admiral under the last administration, so second in charge of the entire U.S. Navy. He helped with the F-35 and F-22 programs. I mean, the guy is brilliant. But what he does for the Navy, he was a researcher. He was familiar with Dr. McCord. He was familiar with his products and his research. And when he found out that his latest product was stronger than anything that he'd ever created, and the Navy has already been doing research on that, he actually contacted Actives to become a distributor. Well, when the Navy found out that he wanted to become a distributor, they said, well, hold on, you can't just run out there and do that right away. We need to check out the company. We want to make sure that the research is legitimate, that the people at the corporate office are good people that aren't trying to do something wrong. They literally, the U.S. Navy spent a whole bunch of money. They went through all the background checks on David and Brian and Angie and their entire corporate staff. They went through all the financials. They went through all the research. They went through every little single detail of our company. They went through the compensation plan to make sure it wasn't a Ponzi scheme or some illegal pyramid or anything like that. They literally went through that with a fine-tooth comb. They came back and said, wow, this seems legit. If you want to be a distributor, go ahead. He sits today on our medical advisory board as well, along with these other doctors. And just a brilliant, brilliant guy, understands the science behind what our products have. These three products we call the trifecta. These are our three best selling products because they work very, very well together. You're reducing the oxidative stress, you're repairing the damaged cells, you're reducing inflammation, all of those things that are working very, very well together. Some of the side benefits that we found out, like when right after COVID, about 3 months after that, and they knew this was going to be something we were going to be dealing with for a long time, Dr. McCord, he actually went and did some research. He wanted to find out, well, how would NRF2, when it's being activated in the body, what would that do to the COVID virus? And not just the COVID virus, but all the other viruses that are out there. Because they already knew that NRF2 had an impact on there. What they found was, here's the cell, okay, coming back to this, NRF2, right here at the edge of the cell is where the viruses attach. Well, when NRF2 is being produced, it didn't allow various viruses, all the different variants of COVID, to attach there, okay? And so it was the body's defense system to block and guard against those. Now, am I saying that you take this product, you're not going to get COVID? Absolutely not. Let me be clear about that, okay? Now, what is happening is you're giving your body the best ability to fight against that. You're going to lower your risks doing these things. This research is published. You can actually go read this. We have this on our website, actives.info. It's Dr. McCord's published research on this. Okay, so this is not Eric's Idea of the Month Club. This is literally published research by Dr. McCord showing this. Okay, so this was really huge. Now, what was fascinating was, if you go back to the timeline of COVID, when it first got started, we found some interesting things. What was the largest group that had the biggest problems, had the highest death rate, had the biggest complications? The older you got, the more complications you had with COVID-19, right? Those were the individuals that ended up in the hospital, all those kind of things. What was the group that had the least amount of issues? Those that were 20 and younger. Remember this little chart? Born at 0 out to 20 years old. Then the production of NRF2 starts to drop off. Well, by the time you're between 40 plus, 65 plus, NRF2 is not being produced, SOD is not being produced, all those little things. That lined up with now what we know 18 months later. Okay, they didn't know this when they first did the research. This now literally kind of plays out with what we've now seen. Those that were younger didn't have it, okay? Or if they got it, they had the least amount of symptoms, okay? So again, one more layer of protection out there to trying to keep our bodies healthy. Again, if you give your bodies what it's supposed to do, it'll know what to do with them, and it'll take care of itself. So Link, they have also, there's studies published now that the gut bacteria and the biomes in the gut created from short chain fatty acids, butyric acid also help in defense against various viruses as well as the COVID variants. And it's, again, another layer of protection. Optimend, when you're looking at that, you're going, okay, that helps reduce the inflammation. Well, what is one of the problems? You get the inflammation in the chest and the lungs, and so your body produces mucus. It's trying to get rid of that, and then people drown, right? Well, there's some really fascinating things right here. One of the studies originally done by that original product that Dr. McCord created was done by the American Heart Association. American Heart Association, they wanted to find out when Nrf2 is being produced, what would it do to heart disease and various things like that. When they got done with their research, they found that when Nrf2 was being produced in the body, it did some amazing things. And the study is published. You can literally go to the American Heart Association's website and look this up. It's the first time they've ever published any research on a natural product. And this is the product that Dr. McCord and his colleagues created. Okay, what they found, and I'll quote them, so it's not me, it says the dietary supplement prevented heart disease and heart attacks. Okay, didn't say it kind of sort of helped. Understand what I just said. Okay, it prevented those things from occurring. If you did have the heart, which turns to scar tissue, then it softened that scar tissue back up so that the heart could pump and function properly. The arteries and veins, which became hardened over the course of time, those became soft and pliable again so they could pump. It also cleaned out the plaques and stuff there. Why is that important here to people that are dealing with COVID? Well, one of the problems is you get the scar tissue in the lung. Okay, the scar tissue, the body doesn't look at it differently. It says Nrf2, when it's being produced, it helps soften the scar tissue. So it's just another layer of protection and way our body's getting back to the way they're supposed to. So if you know about it's got COVID and they've got those issues, this is why you want them on these three products right here. Okay, those are just some really, really cool things about those. The company sells them in a package deal. They're all set up on a 30-day supply. You take one of Genomics, you take one of Link in the morning and one of Optimend in the morning, and one of Link at night, one of Optimend at night. So just 2 a day on these and only 1 on Genomics. Dr. McCord said when you take Genomics, it's like a light switch. Once the light switch is on, it's on. Okay, you can't turn it on anymore. So those are what we call a trifecta. We have another product. It's called Airo, A-I-R-O. Airo is a metabolizer. What it does is it boosts your body's natural metabolism. So then now it's burning the fats and stuff 24 hours a day. And when you burn those things, that creates energy. Okay, so it works very, very well as an energy drink because of this. So you take it in the morning, and your body's now, the metabolism is revved up, and your body's now burning all of these things, all these fats and stuff. And now you've got this great energy. So rather than taking a Monster or a coffee and Starbucks, and 3 hours later you have this drop off because the stimulants and stuff that are in there, they drop off, and now you get a massive headache. Take Airo, you drink it throughout the day or just in the morning, and it's just an incredible way to help lose weight and inches, but also a great boost in energy. We got a skincare line that is world renowned class. I mean, it is awesome. The skincare helps fight the fine lines and wrinkles. It tells your body to produce its own natural collagen. Again, these products just aren't Me Too products that you can get from any other company or any other store, things like that. It's literally sending a signal to the body to produce your body's natural collagen. So now the fine lines and wrinkles. It helps with the sun damage, the age spots, and all those things. Incredible product. Helps if you got teenagers with acne. An incredible skincare line for that because it's got a serum and it's got a toner, it's got a mud mask. Like I said, I got a whole household of girls. This is product number 1 that we have. My daughter that's 16 years old, right there in the midst of all the teenage acne, absolutely loves this, okay? These are awesome, awesome products. These are the ones we currently have. Now, they will have more as we go down the road. One thing that David is very, very careful with his team is to pick products that we have available here at Actives that you can't get anywhere else, but also products that are backed up by science and research. Everything that I've said here today, you can go to actives.info, go to our product section and look under the research department and the videos from these various individuals and watch those and look at the research and study all of those things and look at what our products actually do, which is fine because guys, at the end of the day, I'm a high school, barely educated kid at that. Okay. My older brother, he graduated from the Mayo Clinic. My younger brother, he's a dentist. I mean, my sister's a nurse, but yet because of the research, I can have them look at them and go, hey, these things are real. They actually work. So incredible products. So you take that and you go, okay, the product side, that gets a check mark. Okay. Timing, let's go back to this. First thing I talked about. Where are we at with actives? Well, they started in 2016, at least Mexico. Mexico right here, and Latin and South America is right here. And they're doing about $2.5 million a month. They're getting to the point where they're doubling about every 90 days or less. Okay. So they will hit this $4 million benchmark within the next 12 months or so. Okay. Easily. So they'll be just in Mexico alone, actives will be doing over $15 million a year. Okay. That's where they're at. They now have about 40,000+ distributors down there. Here in the US, we officially kick things off July 1. Okay. We have about 400 to 450 distributors here in the US market. That's it, guys. That's it. In network marketing, if you can be one of the first 20 to 25,000, that's ground floor. Okay. If you just look at Mexico, you go, okay, if they've got 40,000, what are the chances that the US market is going to have 40,000 distributors? Really, really high. Okay. As a matter of fact, the US market will pass Mexico and Latin America. Why? Because it has always been the biggest market in MLM. Mexico is number 5. Asia's number 2. But this is where we're at. Literally, we can do business in over 200 countries. Right now, we got states that don't even have a distributor in them. Now, mind you, in our last company, Trish and I, we brought on 35 people that turned into 250,000 people in 27 different countries, most of them here in the United States. So what are the chances that we go from here to here, and then we hit this critical mass and momentum? Very, very, very high. Okay, that's pretty much almost a given. This is already kind of the roadmap saying, okay, if they've done it in Mexico, then we're easily going to do that here in the US market. So if you've ever wanted to be first in an MLM, it's going to have longevity and be one of these big legacy billion-dollar companies, you've just positioned yourself right. Okay, so this right here is absolutely cool. You get to be first. Okay, now with being first comes a little bit of responsibility. You're going to help be some of the leadership. You're going to help do some of the spreading the word about the company and the products and things like that. But they pay you very, very well to do so. And we'll talk about that here in a second. So timing, that's where you're at right there. You're first. You can't get it any better than that. Okay. Right now in the US market, by the way, we did over $100,000 in volume last month for the first time. And this month we'll surpass that as well. We'll get our numbers here at the end of the month, but we've already, we're growing very, very fast. Like I said, we've got people that are making a lot of money in a very, very short period of time already here in the US market. So let's look at the trends, because this is important. Okay. Because if all of this is wonderful, but if you're talking about, hey, we're selling 8-track players. Okay. Well, guess what? We missed the boat. That was in the 70s. Okay. But what we are talking about are products that people are looking for. Okay. Right now, the 2 biggest things that people are concerned about in this country and around the entire world for that matter are, 1, COVID. How do we avoid it? How, if you get it, how do you keep yourself healthy? How do you get rid of, get yourself back to normal if you have had it? Okay. That is the number 1 thing on everybody's agenda right now is COVID-19. Okay. The second thing, what do you think that is? Financial. Okay. During COVID, a lot of people lost their income. A lot of people, their income was cut back, or maybe the spouse lost their income and now the husband's working double for the same amount of money. Okay. Financially, people right now are looking for ways to make money. And this right here is position perfect. Okay. Right now, as we're coming out and we're now a year and a half into this, you look at the interest rates. Everything is going up. You look at inflation. It has gone 5.5% to 6% every month over the last 9 months. Okay. A year ago, right before COVID, it was the greatest economy in the history of the world. People weren't looking for ways to make money. Today, they are. People are desperately trying to figure out ways to make an income, and we have a resource and a tool for them to be able to do that. Okay, is right here with actives, and they get to be the very first ones in there to do that, and we know everything is in place. Okay, there's a lot of MLMs that are starting up, but I'll guarantee you 99% of them will not be around in 2 years from now because they just don't have everything in place. We literally have all the manufacturing is already in place, all the ingredients, everything is in place. Literally, we could do $100 million tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, and we could handle that. Okay, so financially, people are looking for that. I don't know if you've noticed over the last couple of months, the prices of gas, the prices of food, if you can even find either one of those things, have gone up dramatically. Some places right now in this country, most of the average is about $4 to $5 a gallon of gas. Okay, a year and a half ago, it was $1.50. Okay, today you're now 5 times that. There are some places in this country that are between $8 to $10 a gallon. Yeah, already in this country. And if you don't think that's coming to your direction, you need to understand what is happening, because all of the things have changed worldwide, and people, all the markets are shifted. You literally have thousands of boats and ships sitting out in the harbor trying to get product in here. Well, if there's no product in here, it's supply and demand. A bag of potato chips that used to cost $1.50 or today is $5 to $6. Hamburgers, same thing. Milk has definitely gone up $4 to $5 a gallon. All of these things are jacking up, and everybody is husbands and wives and stuff are trying to figure out, how do we, make the mortgage? How do we make the car payment, as well as put food on the table? People are very concerned about these two things. So the trends fit. So this is a very easy conversation to have with anybody. You can literally, it's like, hey, I found a way we can make some money. How's that? Well, get on this Zoom meeting tonight at 7 o'clock and I'll explain. Okay. We will help you build your business. This right here. So the trends. So you got timing marked off. You got the trends marked off. Compensation in the system. This right here. These last two are, I'll show you with them. To get involved in the company, there's 2 options. There's a $250 option, or there's a $500 option, or you can be a customer if you want. Okay. But I would suggest put yourself in as a distributor and get in so that you can take advantage and not only use the products and get them at a discount, but you can help other people access the products, but you can also generate income from doing so. Every single person needs to be having a plan B to figure out how to make money. And this literally can be done from home. I'm literally at my house, in front of my fireplace here, just kind of hanging out. We can literally do business all over the world via Zoom. That's the other wonderful thing that came out of COVID, is we all learned how to communicate via this method right here. But the only difference between the $250 and the $500 option is how much product that you actually get. Okay, the $250 package is set up for somebody that's single, a single mom, or a college student, something along that line. The $500 option is more for the family, the husband and wife. You got the kids, and maybe grandpa and grandma, mom and dad, and those kind of things. Okay, this right here, the $500 option, comes with about $850 worth of product. This is the best value. I don't really care which one you get in with, but get in. Okay, I would suggest this: do the 500. You're going to create more income because of that, because people will always do what you did. They'll say, well, which one did you get in with? 500. Okay, all you're doing is we're doubling the volume just with that. But now you've got, it's like if we had a tire store and all you had was enough tires for just your 4 wheels on your car, it doesn't really go over well. You need to have some inventory and some stock. So if people say, hey, can I get some of that product? I want some now. Yes, we can set it up for as a customer, and the company will send the product right to their house, but literally have some right there on hand. Set up your business and let's run it like a business. A lot of people in MLM never do that. They never treat their business like a real business, and therefore they never create real income. So my suggestion is doing that. Now, all you're going to do is this: set yourself up in business. This is you. You don't work for Active. You don't work for me. This is your own company. Name it whatever you want. You're going to get tax advantages and benefits because of this. Talk to your CPA about that. Every single CPA out there will say, have your own business. Be able to have something you can run out of your home, because literally every tax law out there is written for the business owner. If you're just an employee trading dollars for hours, okay, you don't get the same tax advantages. Why that? Because a business owner is creating opportunity, and they're buying goods and services, computers and printers and desks and different equipment. So they give different advantages to the business owner. This literally for $500, you can get started here with Actives. It's your own business, and that is a write-off, by the way, because it's a business expense. It's what you started to get your business. So you just write that off at the end of the deal. At the end of the day, all we're going to do is help you tell people about the products and our business. Okay. That's it. That is all network marketing is. It's just word of mouth marketing. You know, we had 3,000 window clients that we worked with. It started out because we advertised one time and then everybody just kind of talked. It was just word of mouth. People would see me next door and they would call their next door neighbor if I left and like, hey, how did he do? Like, hey, he did great. And so I would get a call. And we literally grew our 3 businesses all because of just word of mouth marketing. As a matter of fact, 98% of all business is created by word of mouth marketing. The phone that you have, the food that you eat, and the places you vacation, the restaurants you go to, all of those things just word of mouth. Okay. You see advertisements on TV and in magazines, all that does is bring brand awareness. Okay. That it doesn't really build business for the companies. It just creates brand awareness. At the end of the day, we talk to each other and we want to know, well, do the products actually work? Can you actually make money in this thing? That word of mouth marketing, that is all MLM is. It's just word of mouth marketing. So the company is going to pay you and I to talk to people about that. Our system, to get to the very top of the company, all you need is 4 legs or 4 organizations. Okay. So ultimately, all you need to do is enroll 4 people, either the 250 or the 500. Okay. That's it. You don't need to go out and enroll 100 million people. Okay. A lot of people, a lot of compensation plans is like, get as many people as you can. Well, that becomes kind of daunting and it becomes never ending. You're like, when does this ever end? And, you know, it's like, how many people? It's like, just 4, that is it. We created an entire system around the compensation plan that says, okay, if you only need 4 to get to the top, then that's all we need. Okay. And if you sign up a 5th person, well, if everybody has 4 positions below them, okay, then what would happen to number 5? Number 5 would come somewhere down onto the next line. So literally everybody's working together. A lot of people are signing up around 10 or 12 people because it's quite easy to build this business right now because of all the trends. So those extra people are just falling down somewhere below. So now everybody's working together as a team. So you're not this lone ranger, you signed up and you're like, well, hopefully somebody will help me. No, everybody's working together, helping share the information. We're helping each other with building the compensation and growing out the organization. So now I'm going to show you. So that's the system and it just continues to build on down. So that's it, it's literally that simple, just 4. Okay. Now, let's say you come here at the $500 option. I'm going to show you the comp plan and how you can make money. Okay. Let's say each one of these 4 individuals come in at the same 500. I'm doing this because I have this part memorized. You can do whatever combinations or whatever, but if they all did 500, the company's going to pay you 20% of that 500, or they'll pay you 20% of the 250, whichever one they come in at. Okay. If you have 4 people that do that, there's one bonus that is paid out just on this portion alone. It's called the one-time bonus. Okay. That one-time bonus, 20% of each of those. So you're $100 each. So that's going to pay you $400 right there. Okay. If you sign up those 4 people within your first 30 days, the company kicks in additional $80. So now you've made $480. Plus they add in additional $100 worth of product. So you just get to go on and you redeem that and you can pick literally whatever product you want. And they'll send it to you for doing just that. Okay. So this literally is now you've got your business set up. Your business is paid for. You're now, you know, that's ROI, return on investment. You invested 500. Now you got your money back and you're set up in business. Everything from here on out is profit. Okay. So, well, if those 4 reorder product because everything's set up on a 30-day supply, call it a subscription or an auto ship. Okay. If those 4 individuals reorder the following month, by the way, 98% of our people reorder month after month after month after month because they start on the products, they get results, and they don't want to not take them. Okay. So if those 4 individuals do that same thing and the average in this company is $240 a month, which is the trifecta. It's just, we have a package with a trifecta. You're going to get 2 bottles of Genomics, 2 bottles of Link, 2 bottles of Optimum. That's a little package that we've got set up. So that's specifically called the wellness pack, the trifecta. Okay. The average is $240. Now we have some people that order way more than that. And we got some people that order less, but that's the average here in the US. Okay. The residual is what is important and has always been important to Tricia and I. Okay. the reordering of the products creates a residual income. Okay, when we washed windows, I knew that in 6 months you would call me back. So we had kind of a residual there, but I had to go do the work. Here, we teach these people how to order the products one time, and we set them up so now the subscription is just sent literally every single month. It's just sent to their house. You don't have to worry about it. Computer keeps track of everything, calculates bonuses and commissions, and sends them out to you. Okay, so if you've got these 4 people, you're going to get 10% of their monthly order. So that's 10% on that. That's going to pay you $100. Now, you go, well, that's not a whole lot of money, Eric. Here's the big deal. If you take the average income in the household, and inflation right now is growing between 5 and 6%, that $100 keeps you level with the inflation that is going up. Okay, so literally we can combat the inflation that is transpiring right now in your household just with that. That's how big that $100 is right there, that you can add an additional $100 right into your income just with 4 people right there. Okay, so we've got that. So that's 100. Well, what happens is those 4 each get 4. So now you got 16 on this level. On the one-time bonuses, it's going to pay you $570. By the way, the one-time bonuses are paid out on a weekly basis. If you signed up somebody today, next week, you'll get a check for it. Okay. If you sign up somebody on a Tuesday, the following week, you're going to get paid for that. So they add up everything every week, and then the following week, they cut that. That's the one-time bonuses. The residual bonuses are paid out on the 15th of every single month. They tabulate everything at the end of the month and calculate that. Okay. Well, if those 16 people each do 240, the residual now is $250 a month. Okay. Now, not only are you keeping up with the inflation that's transpiring just with your, that little bit there, but now you've literally got your products for free. That's how I look at it. So your business set up for free. You're literally getting your 240. You're getting these very important products into your household every single month, and they're now for free for you because it's just math. Okay. Now those 16 each get 4. And that gives you 64 on that next level. But what do you get on the one-time bonuses with that? Well, you're going to get a percentage of each one of those 64, whether they come with 500 or 250. But if they all come in for 500, you're going to get paid $4,000 right there just on the one-time bonuses on that third level. $4,000 that you'll have made collectively from those 16 people or those 64 people. Okay. Residually, you're going to make $1,500 a month. Okay, that right there will probably help out 99% of the households in this world right now, because that's an extra $18,000 a year. Okay, you look at most households, if you add an extra $1,500 to $2,000 into their household income, that helps out dramatically. Okay, this helps out maybe the income that was lost during COVID. Or maybe it helps out so you don't have to work as many hours as you were before. That right there is a huge, huge blessing. And all it is you've literally got 64, 16, so you another 20, like 85 people. That's it. For less than 100 people, you're making an additional $18,000+ a year just on this bonus. Mind you, there's 9 bonuses. So I'm only showing you 2 of them. Okay. So those 64 get 4. The next level, you'd have 256. One-time bonuses, you'd make $10,000. So now you've made $15,000 total just in fast start bonuses, and you're only 4 levels down. Okay. Plus the residual income is $5,000 a month, $5,000 a month. It's now $60,000 a year. Plus you added an additional 30,000 in there. So literally right there, you've made $100,000 just with that. Okay. Did I get your attention? Just with that. Okay. The next level was 256. That's 1,024. If they each got 4, you're going to make $20,000. Okay. If they all do the 500, you're going to get a percentage of that. It's going to pay you $20,000 just in the one-time bonuses. So literally you're going to be getting commission checks every single week from people that are signing up down in your organization. You're going to be getting bonuses that are coming in every single week. And trust me, they just send them. They have never missed them. When they audited by the Navy, everything paid out perfectly. Everything's paying the way it should. Guys, this is a way to take the stress off of the financials in the household. Okay. Those of you that are literally on this phone call or this Zoom trying to figure out how do we take care of those things and you're all stressed about it, here's the answer to your prayers. Okay. This is it. You got to be first. You got cool products. They do what they say they're going to do. People keep using them. Residually off of that group right there, you'd be making $15,000 a month. Some of you go, man, that would change things really big. Yeah. That's starting to be CEO income. Okay. If the next level goes from 15,000 to 55,000, and we pay 8 levels dynamically compressed just on our unilevel bonus. There's other bonuses. Like we have a car bonus. So when you're making about $10,000 a month, when your business hits about $100,000 a month in volume, you now qualify for a car bonus, $500 a month. So you're trying to figure out how do we pay for the car? Okay. Let Actives pay for it. If you need a new car, let Actives help you buy it. Okay. They will literally send you $500 every single month. And on top of that, now as your business grows, that goes up as well. It goes from 500 to 600 to 700 to 800, all the way up to $1,000 a month car bonus. Okay. Once that car is paid off, well, go buy another one. Give that other car away. Give it to somebody that needs it. Give it to one of your kids. Give it, all of a sudden now you have options. See, money's not good or bad, but what it does do is it gives you a lot of options. And I've found that when good people make money, they will do good things with it. That is the primary objective that Trish and I have with our family, is we are trying to help as many good people make money so that they can bless the lives of other people around them. So that's that bonus right there. That is on the 2024. Okay. We've got another bonus. Let me just show this one. Every month they take 10% of the global sales worldwide and they put it into a kitty and they split it up 10 ways. Okay. So you got 1% in each one of these little pies. Okay. When you get to about this $250 a month, you now get to split that 1% with everybody at that level and above. So now everything that's going on down in Mexico, you can get a percentage of. Okay. I don't know anybody in Mexico. Oh, great. Guess what? You can now get a percentage of all the business that is done down in Mexico. And we start paying this out to people at a very, very early stage right there. Okay. Now, the next level goes up another 1%. And then you split that, another 1%. In our last company, the company paid a bonus like this that is 4%. This is literally 2.5 times bigger than that. This bonus alone paid more in a month than what Trish and I used to make in an entire year. That's how cool this bonus is. Okay. Some of the other things that contribute to this is you can go on to Amazon and find products for Actives, and you can go on there and you can buy them. Okay. You're like, well, man, that's not good because now I'm competing. And it's like, here's the cool thing. Somebody finds our products out on Amazon. All it is doing is creating brand awareness. Okay. The products are going to be 20 to 30% more expensive on Amazon. 100% of those profits go into this bonus right here. So literally the company is helping contribute to the compensation plan. They want us. Since we got started with these guys, since July 1st, they've literally added a couple of more bonuses into the company. They're literally trying to find ways to help people financially so that we can take that stress away from them. Okay. You can go to actives.info, go to the compensation plan section, and you can read the compensation plan going all the way down through there and see how it plays out and how it works. Okay. A lot of different bonuses, a lot of different ways to get paid. They pay a little over 50% of every dollar that's brought in is paid out through the 9 different bonuses and commissions. And like I said, we got people down in Mexico that are already making $80,000 plus to $100,000 a month, which is crazy. Okay. Here in the US, this is going to happen. Trish and I, like I said, we help literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people create incomes of over $10,000, $15,000 a month in excess of 100,000 because of this system. Okay. Just need 4. That's it. Just find 4 people that are willing to get involved and do their part. And just, we work together as a team to create that. So that's the compensation plan. You got the check mark there. You got the system that we talked about there that creates all that. Everything is in place. Do you realize that the rarity of these 5 things all coming together, it is extremely rare. This does not happen very often in the business world. And you get to be a part of it. Why? Because who you knew when you knew that person, now you just need to make the decision. Well, what are you going to do with the information? Okay. There's people that knew Elon Musk and Bill Gates and some of these other people when they started their companies. Well, everybody knows who they are today, but you missed out on the deal. Okay. Bitcoin, that's a big thing going around now. Well, back in the early, mid 2000s, when nobody even knew what Bitcoin was, that was the time. Okay. But you had to know some gamer that knew about it, that gave you the information on it, and you were willing to get involved. Today, it's like $50,000 to $60,000. I had somebody in literally like 2007, is like about $100 a Bitcoin at the time. He comes to me at a meeting and he tells me about it. Some young kid, some gamer. I'm like, I had no idea. I didn't play video games, but I didn't understand the digital currency. Okay. Again, it's who you knew, when you knew that person, then what you did with the information. Every single person in this world, they say, gets two chances to participate in that S curve. Two chances in your lifetime, guys, to participate in this right here. Okay. This ought to keep you awake tonight of excitement. Okay. This is your lucky break. This is the chance. Guys, all I ever wanted was my turn. I was willing to do my part. I was willing to talk to people. I was willing to learn new things. I was willing to do my part. I just needed my chance. And that's all I ever wanted. Guys, we got that in 2009 with our family. Trish and I, our goal today is to help as many families as we can. We're literally on a mission to do that. On top of that, we're working with various charities and different things like that so that we can do a lot of good. Okay, let's take care of the financial things in the home. But guys, this right here is your chance. You get to capture this. If you can capture this one time in your life, and it's because these things line up right here, and then you're smart with your money, you don't have to worry about money again. How cool would it be to not have to have the stress of that? How would you like to be able to have all your bills paid for, have the car paid for, have your house paid for, be able to help your kids, the millennials, and these different kids that are trying to figure out how to make money to get into a house. So my wife, she went to breakfast this morning with a gal. A house a year ago was worth $400,000 here in the Phoenix area in our neighborhood. Today, that house is over $800,000 to a $900,000 home. I got kids that are brand new newlyweds trying to figure out, how do we get into our first house? Well, now we can help them. Okay, we can help our kids and our grandkids get in position so they can create an income that outruns taxes and the inflation and the insurances, all those things that are a burden to us as we're trying to get ahead. Okay, so that if the refrigerator goes out or the car needs new tires or whatever it is, you've got enough money to be able to handle those types of situations and just to alleviate that stress. Guys, this is your chance to do this. You're first. And like I said, all I ever wanted, Trish and I, we just wanted our chance. And here you are, 2021. Right now, you got the greatest thing sitting right in front of you. Actives is going to be a legacy company. Everything is in place. They're already on track to do that. Okay. And as the economy gets worse, in which it is, because right now we're in hyperinflation, guess what happens after that? You're going to have a huge depression, and it's going to be ugly. And so what my suggestion to you is to make sure that you're digging the well before you need the drink. Make sure that the garden is planted and taken care of and tending to before you need to eat. Okay, that's what this is. This is the thing that we're trying to get ahead of everything that is going on out there. So every night we have Zooms like this, except for Sunday. That's family day. Go to spend the time, go to family and church and do whatever those things, take that there. But then from Monday through Saturday, it's game on. Trish and I are flying and driving all over around this country, meeting and doing meetings and sitting down with people. You can go to Active's Fast Pass. It's an app that you can download. It has all of the meetings that are being done by our distributors around the country. You can send somebody to those meetings. You can set somebody onto the Zoom, whether you're there with them or not. When they get ready to sign up, they will go underneath you. The computer keeps track of everything. You don't have to worry about that. They'll just send out the checks. Our job is just to, share the information. Be like, well, I don't like to sell. I'm not asking you to sell. I haven't sold you anything. All I've done is just give you information. That's all it is just sharing information. This is what we do naturally. Actives will pay us to do this. And the products, like I said, it all comes together because the products work. That is one of the key elements here. So anyways, guys, thanks for your night. I got a date with my wife here right after this. We're going to go spend some time together. And but we'll see you on the next meeting and get together. Like I said, we'll have stuff tomorrow. Look for me or Tricia as we're doing meetings, as well as our other leaders that are out and about doing meetings all over the country. And let's go get this thing and let's crush it. So have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.